The streets of Warsaw are littered with history. Some of that history comes down to the homes of the legends of Polish history. For example, where I'm standing here, it is said that the sister of Chopin once lived. So on today's episode of Kult America, I am searching for the homes of Polish legends. On this unassuming Warsaw street once resided the renowned poet Krzysztof Kamil Baczyński. So Krzysztof was not only a renowned author, but he served in the Polish uprising against Germans during the occupation of Poland. This was a trend at the time. There were several young Polish poets who were fighting for the sovereignty of their country. During the German and Soviet occupation of Poland until 1941, he continued to cooperate with the left-wing underground press. Shortly before the Warsaw Uprising, Krzysztof gave a copy of all of his poetry to one of his friends to be hidden, and because of that, the poetry survived the war. As a member of the scouting assault group, the young poet took part in many sabotage actions throughout the occupation. Sadly, he was killed in action by a German sniper at approximately 4 p.m. August 4th, 1944. He was in the area of the Old Town. Seems such a waste, but I'm sure all Poles are thankful that he fought for their cause. It was in this tenement house that famous writer Maria Dąbrowska once resided. She was well known for her novel Nights and Days and was so influential that she was even nominated for a Nobel Prize. Now Maria was born near the city of Kalisz but settled in Warsaw around 1917. During the interwar period, Dąbrowska worked temporarily in the Polish Ministry of Agriculture while venturing more and more into news reporting and public life. During the occupation of Poland, she stayed in Warsaw and supported the cultural life of the Polish underground. It's touching to me that, like so many authors of her time, Maria devoted herself to the cultural development of Poland, despite the fact that it was very uncomfortable and challenging to function in such a way in an occupied territory. Now, Bolesław Prus is another interesting writer that lived in Warsaw. He fought against Russian occupation when he was just 15. He got a lot of horrible battle scars. He was also incarcerated for much of his life. Later on, he went on to lead a 40-year career in journalism. But he's most recognized for his novel, The Doll, the story about an aristocratic woman who was apparently so beautiful that a man from out of her class would go to great bounds and lengths to get her. Anyways, he lived right there. Jerzy Wasowski was a renowned acoustic engineer, songwriter, director, actor, musician. It is said that he composed over 700 songs, including 150 for children, many popular. This is where he lived. So it was said that a lot of his music was used in radio dramas, television shows, cartoons, and feature films, also theatrical plays. He was born on May 31st, 1913 in Warsaw, and he graduated from the Warsaw University of Technology. He started his professional training in Polish radio around 1938. On the radio, he met many colleagues who helped him build his career after the war. Between the years of 1945 and 1946, he continued his work with the Polish radio as an announcer. He also worked in the technical department. Later, between 1946 and 1948, he worked in the theater as an actor and a composer. He continued his cooperation with Polish radio, but continued to expand his horizons. Kind of an interesting note for such a qualified musician, he was actually self-taught and he wrote in a tonal system. It's pretty cool how all of these larger-than-life people just lived in normal life apartments. It was here on Śliska Street where Władysław Szpilman once resided. He was a classically trained pianist, made famous by his performances around Poland and on Polskie Radio. However, we've searched this street, we've searched for an address, and we cannot find a building where he once resided. It makes me wonder if that building's been demolished. If you know something more about where this artist lived, please write me in the comments section below. So Szpilman began his studies of piano at the Chopin Academy of Music in Warsaw, Poland. Later, he went on to study at the Academy of Arts in Berlin, Germany. However, after Adolf Hitler took charge of Germany in 1933, Szpilman returned to Warsaw, where he quickly became a celebrated pianist and composer of both classical and popular music. He primarily performed as a soloist. His compositions at the time included orchestral works, piano pieces, and also music for film, as well as roughly 50 songs, many of which became quite popular in Poland. At the time of the German invasion of Poland in September 1939, he was celebrated and a featured soloist at Polskie Radio, which was bombed on the 23rd of September 1939. Shortly after broadcasting the last Chopin recital played by Szpilman, the Nazi occupiers established the general government in Poland, created the ghettos in many Polish cities. Ultimately, Szpilman's family was exterminated in concentration camps, though the pianist survived the Holocaust. Most people know him today from the famous 2002 movie, The Pianist. Now, we visited approximately 5 of the 7 places I planned to see today. The other 2 were demolished. And it makes me curious, what homes of legends do you know about that I should maybe visit next time I'm in Warsaw or your city? Write me in the comments section below, let me know on Facebook or Twitter, and subscribe to Kult America. Thank you for watching.